Vivek Atray, and we're here for another episode of the Goodbye Show. It's a fantastic opportunity to interact with people who are of good vibes and good cheer and good personalities. So here we have Mr. Vipin Pubby. Welcome, Vipin ji, to the show. Nice to have you here. And thank you. I've been thinking about this, that we should interact, on this show because you have a very remarkable life, great experiences to share, and a lot of youngsters and even not so young people may benefit from listening to you. So I want to start with early life. And early life means first an anecdote from your early career, which I know of, which I will just say and then you can add. And then we'll go back to the earlier life. Right. So I believe that Mr. Pubby, when he started, he called on the famous Mr. Arun Shourie, who was then the editor. And you were a cub reporter. I will say it in my words and he will add. So basically, he went to call on Mr. Shourie. And obviously, for a cub reporter to call on the editor was a big thing. It was like a soldier calling on the general. Yeah. And a student going into the principal's office. And incidentally, we are shooting in a principal's office today. But how was that experience and what exactly happened?
Well, it was a life-changing experience. It was totally unexpected, me just a cub reporter and, wanting to pay a courtesy call to Mr. Arun Shourie. And I was not expecting that he will find even some time for me. But he did. When I met his PA, I said I would like to just call on and pay my courtesy to Mr. Arun Shourie. So she said, okay, wait in the office for some time, I'll let you know. And within 2 minutes, she was back. And contacting me and said that Mr. Shourie is there to meet you. So I was very surprised, but another surprise awaited me when I opened the door to his office. He was sitting right there.
Oh,
I thought he must be going out somewhere and just hello, and okay, then he'll go out. But he took me by his arm and asked me to sit there in his office, offered me tea, coffee, made me comfortable, and then asked me a few other things. And he was absolutely, totally, friendly. Absolutely. And very, very, very humble. And I said, after taking tea and all that, I said, sorry, I took so much of your time, so I'll leave now. Thank you very much. It was an honor meeting you. He says, okay, that's fine. And then he gets up from his seat and shows me to the door. See, a remarkable person, a person whom the governments of the day would fear. He would write so aggressive.
I know.
And here he was escorting me to the door and wishing me good wishes. That left a mark on you. Not only left a mark, I think I replicated that humbleness with thousands and thousands of others who came to meet me as an editor, or even other reporters who came and other people who came. I made it a point that every time anybody coming in, I would receive and I will also see off. So very remarkable.
Absolutely. I met you at least 24 years ago, I can say. And you also knew my father who was a police officer. And you were probably, again, a very junior reporter. But I have always found you to be that, what you just said. Very, very warm, very cordial, and very humble in your demeanor. Of course, when you had to write strongly, you would write strongly. The Indian Express is a strong newspaper. Yeah. So you did that. But let's go back to early life. Where did you grow up? What was early life like? And how did it progress to journalism?
Well, you see, I was very fortunate to have studied in a military school. These military schools come directly under Ministry of Defense. And basically, they're aimed to provide armed officers to the armed forces. But then there are other professions also open for these people. So there was an All India entrance exam when I was in class 4 at the age of 8. And I was able to clear that exam. And I was very, very keen to go and study in a boarding school.
Okay.
And of course, my parents also were supportive, and I went to that school, which actually made my personality, because strict discipline, and you know how particular I am about the time.
You're very punctual.
So then I was in a hostel since the age of 8, and I completed my schooling from there, then class 11, and joined a college in Jalandhar. No, I had a very hectic time in the school because of their regime and everything, the morning PT,
boarding school, very rough.
So when I came to my hometown, Jalandhar, and joined the college, I found that, it wasn't really much, there was so much time at hand. No. And I'll just go back a little on this point, that while I was in school, I was an avid reader. And Charles Dickens was one of my favorite.
Right.
One particular novel of his, David Copperfield, really impacted my life, where the character is an orphan perhaps and very poor, and then he grows up on his own and he's self-made. A self-made. Now that impacted me very much because he went on to give newspapers to hawker as a hawker and did a lot of small kind of jobs and then grew up to be a successful man. So I then spoke to my dad. I said, see, I have so much of time and I would like to work and I like to be on my own. My father, although he was just an NCO, non-commissioned officer, but he had great foresight and a lot of support system. He never said, we have enough money, why do you want to work? So he said, okay, if you want to work, then you work from a grind. I can't give you a cushy job or, make arrangements for that. So you work on the ground. I said, I'm not prepared for anything.
Okay.
So he said, I have a friend who's working in the Punjab Agriculture University, and they had a sugarcane research farm there. So he said, you go there and meet that particular person. So I went and met him, and he said, since you are a little educated, we will make you a daily wage laborer. But your job would be to every weekend, Saturday and Sundays, go and look at our various varieties of sugarcane, measure them, how much have they grown, different varieties have grown, and make a note of it.
My God.
So I was a daily pay for that time I think it was about 25, 30.
Started with such
Such humble background that I was working with the labor class, totally. So that is one thing, and then one thing to another, to cut it short, number of...
You are also a guide.
Yeah, I'm just coming to that. So I did a number of other small jobs like tuitions, taking classes, making cards and all that. And finally, after my graduation, when I came to Chandigarh to study my MA in English, there I got in touch with a person who runs a travel agency here. And he offered me a role of guide. At that time, it was not much of a known thing here in Chandigarh particularly. And then I took up that job, a part-time job also on weekends and on other days also. And I must share with you that I must have taken at least 150 groups around Chandigarh.
My God.
Reading them on all.
My God. Okay, you were a official authorized guide.
Yeah, all. And then also to places like Nangal Dam, I must have taken over 100 trips to that place. Besides Agra, Jaipur, and the peasants also had been. So that thing actually helped me tremendously when I joined the Indian Express. Because at the interview, they asked me a few questions on Chandigarh, and Chandigarh was like back of my hand.
So how did that happen? I mean, you just went for an interview because of your English background and all that?
No, I was very keen to become a journalist, and I've been aiming to do that during my MA. And so I've been writing a lot of letters to editor on various topics, whatever is happening. So there was a friend, of course, who was also working there, and I asked him to put in a word. And the editor said, okay, you just call him and let's talk to him. And when he spoke to me, he noticed that I've been also writing a lot of letters to editors and all that. And then he asked me a few things about Chandigarh, which I answered. And he says, okay, when can you come? I said, I'm ready right now. Mr Pubby.
Yeah.
He was famous man. There's a stadium in Ranchi.
Yes.
So he was the editor at that time. He says, okay, you are ready to come just now? I said, yes. He says, okay, but come from tomorrow morning. And but we'll take you only as a trainee for a couple of months and let's see how it works out.
So how did you start?
Looking back,
what was the beat that you had in the beginning and what was the training like?
It was, a civic reporting, and I was very fortunate again to have Shekhar Gupta as my chief reporter.
Famous.
And not only he worked with example, he was a very hard worker, and it made me work harder. During the time, I didn't have these, mobile phones and internet and all that. And he would, but there were landlines. So he would give me a call at night at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, sometimes 2 o'clock. Go to that hospital, go to that police station, there is something happening, and report. And I will be in office at 3 o'clock at night and reporting at 4 o'clock.
So
he really, absolutely, he shaped it. And very lucky to have him later as editor-in-chief.
Yes.
When I was the editor.
Yes. So your life as a journalist continued for 35 to 40 years?
45 years now.
45 now, 45.
Has with the Indian Express 36 years.
36 years. and now with the university, Shoolini. So, while we come to details later, how has been this journey till now? I mean, how's it going? How's life?
I think absolutely fantastic. I think I'm one of the luckiest persons on this planet to have such a wonderful family and to have such wonderful jobs, which I really enjoyed thoroughly. I took me in this job, and Indian Express took me all across the country and abroad. Traveled with presidents, prime ministers, and who not. And really, I was able to contribute to the society in some manner. And then I had this second innings, which is right now with Shoolini University. And I am the director for the School of Journalism and Media there, as well as a director external communication. That is, I handle their communications. Again, this is a blessing because they give me all freedom and respect. And we have taken several initiatives, gone along. And overall, it's been a fantastic life, and I really enjoy it.
In fact, the Khosla founders have been on this show, so you are probably the second from the Shoolini family, as far as I can see.
Yeah.
But this Shoolini journey must have given you a very different flavor from the journalistic editorial days. So, what has changed?
Exactly. No, the point is that when I was the editor, one of my duties was to recruit young journalists, trainee journalists, and that was my biggest nightmare. Because when these reporters, young boys and girls would come from these journalism schools for the interview or tests, they had no idea what the journalism is about. It was bookish knowledge and nothing at all. So that was one of my motivation to start or head perhaps a school where I could produce journalists who could be, who could just join the job on the run. I mean, so they should be totally prepared for practical knowledge, practical journalism. So that is what we have done in our school, that we provide practical knowledge, whether it is television or radio or print media. Absolutely. And so therefore, after 3 years of bachelor's in journalism, most of them get jobs and get settled.
Absolutely. So, but how has journalism changed from the early days? It's a very major question, I know. And I'm going to ask you to relate some anecdotes in a while. But my personal impression is, I was director PR, as you know, when you were editor of the Indian Express. Firstly, technology has changed a lot of things. But also, I think that level of depth of analysis has reduced. The span of attention has reduced. Bite-sized news has come in. And digital has normally led to one-liners being more important than comprehensive analysis. So, in your view, with a considered opinion, you have so much experience on television, you appear on so many opinion discussions, you write columns even now on the state of the nation, etc. So what is your macro view?
You see, I consider myself very lucky, as I said earlier, that I got an opportunity to work with the Indian Express.
Yeah.
Indian Express continues to hold those high standards. It did in the past number of times. I mean, always, I would say, particularly during emergency. And I was very lucky to be in such a newspaper which gave you so much of freedom. Very few people are going to believe when I say that in my 36 years, neither my editor nor the owner or the trustee of the newspaper ever asked me to print something or not to print something. It's a big, big thing. It doesn't happen now. It doesn't happen now. These days, journalists are told what to write, not to write, and all that. But I was looking not one single instance, and they were completely vacuum whatever you are doing. In fact, I have been facing several defamation cases. Most of them I've acquitted. There are 2 still pending. And but those 2 are, are pending the courts, as like other cases. But it is the Indian Express which makes arrangements for me to go to the courts, hire lawyers, and everything.
You're part of a family.
Yeah, so it's fantastic. So I was very lucky. But coming to your broader question, what was media? No, in our time, there was no internet. Luckily, there was no electronic channels and digital media. So it was the print media that was there. And people related to print media, they would say, okay, it's printed there. It has to be true. Nothing, they can't go wrong. Now it's a complete reverse. Now, when you talk of media, people relate it only with electronic media. And I am not here to defend electronic media at all. It is so rubbish, I would say. I'm sorry to use this word. They hardly have any news.
I know.
It's, just debates and shouting matches and screaming and shouting at each
Yeah, just to pause, we are on electronic media, but we are having an in-depth discussion. We are not shouting or screaming. It can be done.
It can be done. It is possible. And there are a lot of digital media companies like the Quint or another thing. So there are a few digital platforms which have come up now, and they are there. I would say that is my silver lining, because as far as print media is concerned, because of the technology and all that, it is going down a bit. As for people, youngsters do not read papers much, and electronic media, particularly the TV news, is no news at all. So the only area of hope, those doors have closed, but these windows have opened about digital media, where citizens can express their views dignitly and with dignity and with enough time. So I think that is something that I look forward to, and I hope digital media will be a savior.
So absolutely. But let's take a lighter break. We are in the backdrop of spiritual picture, Paramahansa Yogananda. You and I have been at times driving together to Shoolini discussing everything, including spirituality.
Absolutely.
So, have you found that you needed a kind of spiritual support at times during your career? Let's talk about your express. Was there times when the tension was so much, or you felt like losing your cool, but you kind of backed on something within which helped you? And now I believe there's also some driving the challenges that you face.
Yeah, I think maybe because of my upbringing and dealing with all kinds of people, I did develop that patience. I'm not really a spiritual person in that sense that I read holy books or that I pray. But from inside, yes, I like to do, and I don't want to harm anybody. I'm a positive person.
Yes, you are.
I like to help as much as possible anybody. So that kind of spirituality, in a lighter way, I must say that my wife is a very spiritual person.
Oh.
So there's enough spirituality for both of us.
And your wife is all my wife is also. We should not take them lightly. But it is journey to Shoolini to find your spirituality.
Yes, actually, not only it's a journey to Shoolini, but anywhere you drive on Indian roads, your spirituality is tested, because people will try to irritate you, overtake you, blow horns, do honking, and all kind of stuff. So you need a lot of patience, really lot of patience, not to say anything, not say anything. So if I complete a journey without using any severe word, which I don't use very harsh words, I think my journey is successful.
I think this was a very good example. When we are able to keep our calm, and there is a quote that says a saint is a saint because he doesn't lose his cool when he feels like losing his cool.
Yeah.
That is very important. Now, look at India as a macro level.
Yeah.
One thing that you are pleased about in current times, and one aspect which you are annoyed about, which you wish to change. I know it's out of the blue.
It's a very big question, actually.
Yeah.
The one thing that, positive, I'll start with first. And the positive, what I look like is that, India is the youngest country.
Yeah.
Our median age is 27. That means 50% of the population is below 27. So we are in a very advantageous position. And we have our youth power that is going to be there, which will take the country forward. And my only apprehension, I would say that, maybe a section of youth may not be directly poised like that. But overall, since we have this strength, so I think it's time for India. And I think we should channelize that energy to really go ahead.
I agree with you.
And the thing that I really hate is what we discussed a little while ago, electronic media.
And he had not been there, we would have been a better country.
Correct. So that is one thing I can't stand. I look forward to getting news, which I don't get it. But these days now, AI has come to our help. So if you put on 10 top news of the day, at least you get to know what top.
So friends from the electronic media watching this podcast, he's not talking any negative about you. He's talking about so all our friends from electronic. But talk about your family, the three sons. I mean, they're all doing so well and so bright. So tell us about them.
Again, very, very lucky to have the three sons, all of them with very strong moorings, and their upbringing, I think, has helped. So the eldest one is a journalist, much against my wishes. Manu Pubby is a senior journalist with the Economic Times and covers defense. But although I was not in favor of him getting into the paper in the media, but I didn't stop. If he wanted to go, it's fine. The only condition I put with the India Express was when they were recruiting students from Asia College of Journalism, that if you recruit him, please do not place him under me.
Right.
He will not be posted where I am.
Right.
Because if he does well, people might say that I am helping him. If he doesn't do well, people will say, see,
He posted under you.
he never was posted.
Yeah, and he's an award-winning journalist. He's on the TV offer.
He was a national award-winning journalist twice, and Ramnath Goenka Award and all these days. So he is into journalism, but my other two sons are not journalism. Second son is with Amazon company, is currently in Madrid, Spain. He is posted there. And the third one, the youngest one, Madhav, he is in Delhi. Bombay. He has just joined Deloitte company and after completing his MBA. So they're all settled. The nest is empty.
So you and ma'am are tolerating each other.
More patience.
Let's have a couple of anecdotes from your journalistic time.
Yeah.
Or anything that you'd like to share, which struck you, which maybe shaped you, or maybe with Mr. Shekhar Gupta or someone else.
Yeah.
Or any politician you met, or Punjab days. What would you like to share?
A couple of things that I'm very proud of. A couple of things. One is, I was posted as the editor of the Indian Express in Gujarat in the year 2001. And it was the night of 25th of January 2001. And in newspaper industry, we get just 3 or 4 holidays. January 26th is one. Diwali, Holi, and one more. So as we read up the newspaper, I told my staff, I said, okay, let's pack up, and tomorrow is a holiday. So we'll meet day after tomorrow unless the earth shakes. Now that was something I could never imagine, that next day morning at 9 o'clock, the earth really shook. And there was that great earthquake in Gujarat.
Absolutely.
Which thousands of people were killed. And our own homes rattled, and there were all these things falling down, fans and everything. People rushed out. Number of people got killed. Ahmedabad, when I was there, building next to us collapsed. And it was a holiday. And as a professional, it was my duty
To report.
Because there were so much rumors that lakhs of people have died and all that. But all my staff and everyone was on holiday. So 2 or 3 of us went on to the office and started calling everyone. Everyone had damage, suffered some kind of a damage, but luckily no injuries and all. So we gathered the team together, brought out 2 pages of the paper, same day, and evening at 4 o'clock, saying these are the places where, this damage has taken place. This is what the government says, and this is the actual ground position. So very proud to have a professional team like that,
Right.
to come and,
Very challenging.
very, very challenging. So that was one. Another thing is, I won't name the chief minister, but, there was one chief minister who was very, very generous with all journalists, particularly, and he would often call me also, unlike all journalists and editors, for breakfast, all that. So once...
breakfast is quite harmless. Very called for coffee.
So, one of those breakfasts, which is just before the next round of elections, where he was to contest, he suddenly asked all his other people, like the chief secretary and others, to excuse both of us, and that he would like to speak to me.
You and he.
Only me. So the others just left, and he says, you have been very nice, you have been very kind, and all that. Now, what can I do for you? I said, give me more news. But he says, no, I'm serious. There are all these journalists, other journalists have helped them. You tell me what do you want. You name the thing. And then you can give on to see, you point out at the plot what you want. So that really shook me off, and he was totally dazed as to what happened. But then I told him,
उस फितरत के अब नहीं थे. If we talk in Hindi, Urdu.
yes, yes.
I mean, आप उस तरह के बने नहीं थे. You didn't feel like it.
You were not even part of the play on, and couldn't even think of it. So I said, I'm sorry, this is not possible. I'm very sorry, I can't take it, anything. I have, God has given me enough. I don't need it. So perhaps I was one of the very few who might have declined, and he says कि मैंने कभी किसी ऐसा सुना नहीं है, but जैसा आप कहें वैसे ठीक है. मैंने कहा ठीक है.
It doesn't make you an offer that you couldn't refuse.
So that was one thing which I'm proud of, that I could decline. I would have declined. It was never my aim. I could have asked.
Oh, you're right.
It was no man.
It's a brilliant thing, and both these anecdotes show the outstanding nature of your work. Not that you wanted to portray that, but it is what we learn. Then, as a personality, I've noticed the calmness, coolness, efficiency, and punctuality, and the organized way, and then the quality. As an EA that you're writing in a hurry, or you're sending something in a hurry, so there'll be some, errors. That is your forte, and you've been so outstanding in that. Now, how is life going presently, and pleasantly? How does it keep you busy? How do you keep so fit? What is your mantra for happiness now?
Oh, well, I think one is, as I said, the current job that I am doing. One is going to the Shoolini University.
Right.
And having all this independence to bring out and to prepare journalists of the future. And second is the independence that they have given me to appear on TV shows, to write columns for different papers. So that way I keep busy, and I read quite a lot and write quite a lot. But then there are other hobbies like golf. So golf is one thing that I love, and I try to find time for it, and that gives me also exercise. Besides, I do a bit of yoga, Surya Namaskars and all. So, and a little careful about the diet. But overall, the life is very good, I would say, and as good as it can be, I suppose. So I'm very, very happy with our life and with having friends like you.
Thank you so much. What you said just now, life is good. When you see that, it becomes better. And when you said that the earth might shake over there, then it shook. What we see, it manifests as a very, very thing. So, gentlemen and ladies, it's been wonderful to chat with Mr. Vipin Pubby on this show. He's such an inspiration. But before he goes, one last word to the younger generation, to somebody who's starting out, maybe journalism, maybe some other career. What is your advice?
Well, individuals can make all the difference. And I think the youngsters, I have a lot of students whom I teach. And I find that spark in quite a few of them, that they are going to make a difference. Some of them are already making a difference in this profession. But in this profession or any other profession, my advice is you do whatever job you want to do, you follow your passion, and you can rise to the top. The only thing is that you should have sincerity, and you are prepared to do hard work.
So what should a youngster keep in mind?
So I'm very fortunate to be around youngsters these days. There are thousands of youngsters when I go to the campus and I interact with them and all that. And I see the hope there. And I think, including my students or any other students, not necessarily even from our university, I see a ray of hope. I find a section of them really have the potential. And they are there to make a mark for themselves. The only thing I tell them, and I tell all youngsters, is that you can reach the pinnacle of anything. Nothing is impossible. You can reach the pinnacle, provided you be sincere and be hardworking. Nothing can stop you.
I think you've said it very well. I totally agree. These are timeless qualities. And let me say that you generate so many good vibes. So delighted to have you on my show.
Thank you so
much. We'll keep chatting and having fun like that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.